Today I wanted to speak about why you may not be getting those speeds that have been guaranteed by your internet service provider. And the reason why is these speeds are not actually guaranteed. It's a best effort service, meaning it has the ability or the capacity to get you those speeds, but a lot of it is reliant on what type of devices you have, how many people are using the network, just the same way that it works with DSL, fiber optic, coaxial service. And it's all similar. They all have this same basic network topology that they have to work with. So oftentimes you'll find yourself at home running speed tests. You've paid for a gig, you're getting 900, you're getting 980. You don't understand why it fluctuates. If you're running these tests during peak times when other people are using these servers, you're not going to get the speeds you're expecting because it is a shared network. This is even more impactful when you're trying to run wireless tests. Most of the time, the makeup of your house, the build of the house, the devices you have in your home aren't controlled by these service providers. So they're not able to guarantee that the shed outside is going to get the speed that you'd like, or the computer in the basement, the computer in the attic, even shared situations where people will try to share their internet with neighbors, multifamily units, things like that. It's even less reliable just because of what the signal has to do to work with these devices that are further away or farther away. I suggest that you try your own troubleshooting before you have someone come out and look at your network. There's certain things that you can do to avoid having to wait, things that you can fix on your own time. No one knows how your house is built better than you do or what's in it. So some things that you want to look at firsthand are what you would think of as line of sight. Sometimes we'd see trucks with stickers saying, if you can't see my mirrors, I can't see you. That holds true with your Wi-Fi signal as well. You've probably heard terminology like your 2.4G, your 5G signals. Your 2.4 is basically a lower bandwidth signal, a little bit slower signal. It's going to allow you to use your devices further away from the access point or your router. Your 5G is going to be faster. It doesn't penetrate objects as well. So typically I would let the devices that I'm using automatically make the choice of which band they prefer based on the situation, how far away I am, or what types of obstacles they may encounter in order for the signals to communicate properly. But generally, what you want to do is look at the devices in your house. If you're in a room that has issues, you're trying to figure out why when you go into a certain room, things aren't working, just go ahead and imagine that the walls aren't there. So you stand in that position, you look at the wireless source, and you want to think about what objects are in between that. If you're going to have a refrigerator or a chimney, these are the best insulated things that you could possibly have in your home. So if you have a refrigerator between where you're trying to use your signal and the source of the signal, it's not going to work. Your chimney is going to dampen the signal also. You have other issues if you have a bar with maybe lots of silverware, copper mugs, things like that. Those are going to reflect signals. Your brick, wood are going to absorb. Your metal, mirrors, things like that are going to reflect. If you cannot see a mirror, doesn't mean that there isn't one along the way within that path getting back to your device, reflecting the signal. So those are things you want to take a look at. You have just basic construction of the home. You may have added a den where there formerly was a garage, or outside of a breezeway. And although this does feel like it's within the home, those outside walls were better insulated than your interior walls. That's something that needs to be considered as well. And your devices. So if you're testing on a Chromebook that's 4 years old, and you're only getting 300, and then you're testing with an iPhone, the newest version, and that's able to get a gig, it's not a problem with the service provider. You simply have a device, in this case the Chromebook, which is limited by its own hardware. It will never get a gig just because you are paying for a gig through the ISP. So take a look at these things, see if some of those things can be avoided. Reflective objects that may dampen the signal. Oftentimes those are the source of the issues within the home. And the wireless is not as reliable as your hardwire situations. If you're able to hardwire it, if you have a wireless router within a foot or two of a television, go ahead and use an Ethernet cable. You may be able to buy a Roku or a Fire Stick with a dongle where you can actually plug that in if your TV does not have a port. But those things could save you a lot of headache. Instead of having someone show up, try to troubleshoot, they don't realize that in your particular closet you may have some type of metallic filing cabinet that's distorting the signal, or mirrors, or you may have a fish tank in a room that this person's not aware of, which absorbs and distorts the signal as well. So try to do some of those troubleshooting things that might help you out in the end and avoid a possible service charge.